Greetings, folks. Iolair here. I'm pleased to welcome back Constantine IRB to the channel, this time in a very close match sailing the premium Tier 5 Italian battleship, the Giulio Cesare. I'll leave a link to the previous replay that features Constantine on the channel in the description below. Now for this match, Constantine is in a Tier 6 domination battle on Strait with one carrier per team. Also noteworthy is that each team has a failed division that includes a Tier 4 cruiser. Constantine's Cesare is commanded by the historical commander Luigi Sansonetti, working on a tank concealment build. The Cesare does have reasonably fast turrets, so Constantine has elected to not take expert marksman, instead investing in the buffed expert loader skill and presumably picking up preventative maintenance later once he has the skill points. Now, this match has an interesting backstory that I think most or all of us can relate to. Quoting Constantine directly from his email to me about this match, he said, quote, "I'd just come off a series of rather terrible games before this one. My headspace was pretty down in the dumps, feeling defeated. I just wanted a good game, even if we lost," unquote. Well, we'll see how this match goes, and you can decide for yourself whether the results would have lifted Constantine's spirits. Now, I've started this replay a few minutes into the battle because the early going for Constantine is a little slow. And if we look over here to the north of Alpha, we have a very interesting exchange where the Allied New York successfully rams the Karlsruhe, earning himself Die Hard, but then immediately dies to the flooding from the ram. So kind of an interesting opening exchange for the video. The Allies, unfortunately, are currently down. They did hold Charlie, but are now losing that cap, and they currently have a one-ship deficit. In fact, now they have a two-ship deficit, as they've just lost the Farragut, and now they have a three-ship deficit as they lose the New York, all in the south. In fact, the Allied Ryujo is completely cut off. He is in the southeast corner, or southwest corner, excuse me, of the map, and there's not going to be much that he can do because the Geta is pushing in against him and is faster than the carrier. Will keep the carrier lit, and the carrier is probably doomed at this point. Now, Constantine's actually in a quite dangerous position. He was very lucky there to not have taken more damage from the New York. The Giulio Cesare is a quite squishy battleship broadside. The New York has very good AP penetration characteristics on its guns, so Constantine was quite lucky there. He's also in a crossfire position between the New York and the Congo. The Congo is now targeting him as well. So Constantine needs to angle in here as best he can between the two battleships, try to get one of the two battleships off his flank so that he can angle better against just one rather than trying to deal with two. The New York here is clearly the preference. This New York is going very slowly, even for a very slow battleship. You can see with almost no lead, he still didn't quite give enough, or gave almost too much lead there, but he is able to finish off the New York, and earning himself or activating the triumphant hull talent of Sansonetti, which increases his base firing range by 8%. So now he can angle back in against this Congo and try to get a cap for his team. The opponents did take Charlie, and the carrier does indeed go down, as I mentioned earlier, to fire from the New Mexico. So now it's just 3 allies, including Constantine, against 6 opponents and having no caps, and the opponents have 2. Constantine is, looks like he's gonna, well, he's currently capping uncontested. The question is whether this Congo is going to target him once he's detected again. It doesn't look like it. Constantine gets a broadside shot here on the Congo. The Congo is also quite squishy as a battleship. Takes 7 full pens, no citadels, but takes out most of the health, of the remaining health of the Congo. Congo is coming under fire from the Buzioni, as well as, I believe that's a Hawkins. That is to Constantine's northwest and west, and the Congo here is burning. I think Constantine's doing the right thing here. Let somebody else get that kill. Yes, and he goes down to fires from the Buzioni. So they've narrowed the ship deficit to 2. And they have successfully secured Alpha, excuse me. So now they need to push down to Bravo. Now, a very important event has just happened. The Allied carrier, which was sunk, he still had strike planes in the air, and he is able to successfully kill the remaining opposing destroyer, the Geta, and so that will make this quite a bit easier potentially for the Allies to execute, because they now don't have to worry about an undetected torpedo threat that could be pushing in against them as they head here toward Bravo. So the opponents are actually quite spread out very far in the south. This is going to give Constantine and his couple of allied cruisers an opportunity to push down here towards Bravo, try to get that cap. Their biggest challenge here is going to be the carrier, who's obviously going to be sending all of his planes up here because that's where all the allies are. And that's going to be the main challenge in terms of getting the Bravo cap. And it's also going to keep them detected. Let's see, looked like Constantine was being targeted there by the New Mexico, but he went off detection briefly. He has fired. It was a slightly disappointing salvo, but that is a long-range shot. He is well angled against the New York and was able to tank most of that shot as he's pushing down here toward Bravo. Now, the Bugioni has moved into the cap, which is good, but the Bugioni, in my opinion, should be backing off and let Constantine take the lead here and be sort of the bullet sponge for the Allies as they attempt to take Bravo. This New Mexico is still giving a lot of broadside. That was kind of a disappointing hit there. The Bugioni is a very good cruiser, but he is not going to be able to tolerate. He's now in a crossfire between the Montecuccoli, which is coming up from the southwest, and the New Mexico. And in fact, we also see, I think that's a Trento. There's the carrier. That's the Ranger. And then the other cruiser, which I think, the other cruiser is a Bugioni. So the Allied Bugioni is in a crossfire. Again, he really should be backing off here. Now, I think what Constantine is doing here is actually the right way to approach this, which is limit the number of opponents that can fire on you. Focus on getting down one opponent at a time, and don't be front and center and have all of the opponents firing on you simultaneously. Looks like the Bugioni is one bounce. Okay, that was not a very satisfying salvo at all. And I think Constantine's making a good choice here not to put himself in line of fire to the New Mexico, and instead try to get the Montecuccoli and the Bugioni down. And there, it looks like the Allied Bugioni is taking a pretty bad hit. And again, he is broadside to the Montecuccoli, he doesn't have much health left. That salvo looks pretty good. Oh man, lots of overpens. Okay, well, that was a little bit disappointing. The carrier has attempted to drop, or he did drop, Constantine here, but being bow on, he's easily able to avoid those torpedoes. Here comes the Bugioni again. The Montecuccoli is slipped behind the island, so the only target, there goes the Allied Bugioni. So that just leaves Constantine and the Hawkins. Hawkins has slipped into Bravo. I don't know if he's going to be able to get the cap. He obviously must be detected by the Bugioni. And yeah, so again, Constantine's making a good choice there. Ooh, that was a really nice salvo, getting most of the remaining health of the Bugioni. There's a call to try to kill the cruiser here. In fact, the Montecuccoli was actually quite low in health as well, although he slipped into smoke and then behind the island, so we can't see him. We've also lost track of the New Mexico, which is frankly the biggest threat for Constantine at this point. So he's backing up here, and he is able to get the kill on the Bugioni. We have also now just seen some fire come from the south side of the cap, and there is the Montecuccoli. So this is going to be the next priority. A rocket attack from the carrier. Looks like he did little or no damage, so that definitely helps. But they've now thinned the deficit to 1. This Montecuccoli is living on borrowed time, sailing like that to Cesare, and he is going to take a Citadel hit. Now, this move here I thought was actually quite risky, because we don't know where the New Mexico is, and for all we know, he could have been just waiting there for Constantine to come out. There are the torpedoes from the Montecuccoli, and he could have just taken a full broadside, but he doesn't. We don't know where the New Mexico is. We have brought this back to a 2-on-2 situation. More torpedoes from the Montecuccoli, and the carrier obviously has the advantage that he can keep both Constantine and the allied Hawkins detected. Yeah, are they going to be able to get this Bravo cap? I don't know. This, well, it looks like the carrier is going to go after Constantine. That should give the Hawkins the opportunity potentially. There is the carrier, but the Hawkins should now have the opportunity to get the Bravo cap. He does. So that helps in terms of slowing the rate at which they were falling behind. Now, given the time remaining, they probably need to sink everything to win. They don't have enough time to try to catch up on points, even if they were to get into Charlie and try to take that cap. The Ranger has, in my opinion, has made a pretty serious mistake here, staying where he was. He should have been moving north, making sure that he stayed out of reach once the cruisers went down, and buying his team some insurance and not being detected. But he didn't do that, and Constantine is able to get some salvos in here. The advantage also for Constantine here, with the Ranger being so angled, means that he's going to get a lot more pens and a lot fewer overpens. When these Rangers are broadside against battleships, they tend to be very squishy, or very take a lot of overpens and not much in the way of pens. We have now seen the New Mexico, and he finishes off the Hawkins. So he was spending all that time sort of sailing up the East Channel, and has now popped out on the east side of Bravo, trying to get this Ranger down. Again, the Ranger, I don't remember what the Ranger's detection range is, but I'm a little surprised that he's still detected at this range from Constantine. Constantine has moved into Charlie, but at this point I don't think the right move is to try to take the cap. They just, again, don't have enough time to cap and win the game. They're going to have to sink all opponents. The Ranger is turned back out. To more salvos out on the Ranger. Oh, that was very disappointing. One overpen. Come on, is he going to get the kill here? Oh, another overpen. So Constantine's got to angle back in here. He is broadside to the New Mexico. And obviously with the carrier having planes in the air, the New Mexico has clear visibility of Constantine. Constantine is not going to get this cap. Between fire from the New Mexico and the onslaught of carrier fire, he is not going to be able to take this cap, but he is going to have to try to get the kill, which he does. So now he's brought it down to a one-on-one situation between himself and the New Mexico. So the two Tier 6 battleships are going to have to square off here to decide who wins this game. And then, in fact, they're actually quite even on their health pools. And so this is going to be a matter of who can execute better as a battleship player. Now, in my opinion here, the New Mexico is not making the right choice here by being so broadside. There is high caliber, the first achievement earned in this game. And Constantine is up to 4 kills. So if he's able to get the New Mexico, he should also earn, or he will earn, Kraken Unleashed as well at a minimum. So he's got to stay angled here against the New Mexico. The New Mexico has angled in with the 25mm bow. Constantine is not going to be able to overmatch that plating. He does get disable one of the front guns, and he earns Confederate, which improves his reload on his guns. So this is also an important thing. Now the New Mexico is turning out to get all of his guns on. He has now switched to high explosive, I think probably because Constantine was maintaining such a good angle, and the New Mexico felt, I think probably, that he wasn't going to be able to get much in the way of damage. He is giving a lot of broadside here. Constantine is able to leverage some of that and be able to get some good chunks in, but again, these ships are very even. There is a fire. And again, I think this is a reflection that New Mexico was only able to fire one turret with one of the other forward ones disabled. He is broadside again. Is he going to get the kill here? Yes, he is. And there he earns Kraken Unleashed as well. So 151,000 in damage. Kraken Unleashed, high caliber, and Confederate in a Tier 6 domination match here on Strait. So going back to Constantine's comments to me in the replay, he said, I actually ended up laughing as the game ended. I felt so damn good. Even gave the enemy battleship a commendation for playing well, since we were both fighting for a Kraken. So, over 2,400 base XP, like I said, in an excellent match here on Strait. So thank you very much, Constantine, for sharing this battle with us. I hope everybody did enjoy the replay and the commentary. Please do leave your comments below. And as always, we hope to see you out there on the virtual seas, and we wish you happy sailing.